Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got the Mount Shasta back in the stand and we are going to be building her up. If you watched my previous videos you'll have seen the teardown video and also the part selection video. So today we finally get around to building her up. We've got some nice weather for a bit, so yeah, it should be a good one. Let's crack on, see how she goes. We're going to start off with getting the headset in there. I do still need to build that up, but yeah, we'll start off with getting the headset, and then we can get the forks on and we'll take it from there. Okay, let's go. Aeroplane going overhead on his way to Newquay Airport. Just wait for him to bugger off. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is fit the cups with a shit tool, because that's all we've got. This one's made by Tupri. It's okay, but it does have a tendency to keep trying to undo itself all over the place. The handles, the top. We'll give it a go. Right then, so we've got two different size cups here, well, two different depths. The big one goes on the bottom, so we'll do that one first. Always do them one at a time. Don't be tempted to try and rush it and do them both together. It's too easy to end up getting them going in at an odd angle and risk damaging either the cups or the frame. So, and the other thing as well with these, they are tapered, so they're supposed to fit different size cups. But if you're not careful, I mean, that fits that one quite nicely, so we could use it that way, but if you're not careful, they can get stuck in some cups and wedged in there good and proper. So I always just use the fat back end of this tool, and that way then you know there's no chance of that happening. Before we do that, we are going to put a little bit of grease in, just to aid things along. So what I tend to use for most things, unless it's bearings obviously, is Shimano anti-seize. So we'll just pop some of this in first. Yeah, I've seen all the people who've got the Park Tool versions of these headset presses, and they've got that quick release mechanism. Makes life a lot quicker. So just take your time on that. I'm literally just holding the nut with my hands at the moment, and that's enough to stop it spinning, and I can watch that. That's going in nice and even. It's only the last bit where I'll need the spanner. So that's the bottom cup in. Yeah, this is where that quick release would have come in handy. Never mind, we work with what we've got. It's definitely an upgrade on a bolt with a couple of nuts and washers on it anyway. So, and now the top one. You can virtually almost push that in. And again, that's going in nice and smooth all the way. That's it. Problem you have with this tool tendency is you try and undo the nut and the whole bolt tries starting undoing from the top instead. There we go. Oh, the dropping has begun. I was about to say I'm amazed I didn't drop that, and then 2 seconds later, on the floor it goes. Right. So we'll get the crown race on the fork next. And this is a rarity. We actually have a Park tool. So let's see if we can get the 1-inch bits out and find out which one fits the crown race best. Let's have a look. Oh, dropped them on the floor. Wrong way around for starters. That's it. Let's get a hammer. Let's get it on. This hammer's not very good for this. Well, that's not going on. It's a tight fit. Let's get a bigger hammer. Try this one. I might need to actually put it on the floor, so I'm going to go in the garage to do that. Just do it from here. I know you can't see, but never mind. That is not going on. Oh wow. So we're already encountering issues. Crown race, even though it's a 1-inch crown race, is struggling to get onto that steerer. And the crown race is now stuck in the end of the tool. Brilliant. Oh dear, dear, dear. Okay, so we've had some right fucking fun and games with this headset so far, trying to get that crown race on there. And what I've realised is that although it's a 1-inch headset and you think 1-inch headset crown race it's going to fit, they don't all fit. This particular steerer requires a 27.0 crown race diameter, internal diameter, and the one that's on the STX headset, which is probably the reason why I haven't been bloody using it, is 26.48. So it doesn't matter how hard you're whacking that, it's never going to go on there. So luckily in my parts box I've found a 27.0 Shimano one, and even more luckily it's got the right degree of taper in order for it to fit straight onto these bearings, which go there. Now the one that I was trying to fit, which is 26.48, is now completely stuck in the end of that park tool. So I'm going to have some right fun and games trying to get that fucker out later on. But we live and learn. So, good thing is we've got the crown race on, got the bottom bearing on. Still need to build the top bearing, but we're getting there, so bear with. Okay, so we've got the bearings built up. I've just put the ones in the top cup. We've got them on the bottom there. Let's get it in, see how it feels. They feel okay to me, but there are these little metal plates that are supposed to just lock the bearing all together, just to, it's not seal it really, just hold it all together. And I've got one of those missing, so I don't know where that is. And that might be another reason why I've not been using this headset. So what I want to see is, does it affect its ability to tighten up, or is there going to be play in the whole system afterwards? I guess we're going to find out soon enough. Right, so that's hand tight. Feels good. Can't really tell if there's any play yet, but that's hand tight there. We can get that top lock nut on. I don't know if there's going to be any room for a spacer in between. I'll have to see if I've got a very thin one. Bear with. Right, so I found a 2mm spacer. Pop that on there. There's not much real estate here. This headset obviously taking up a lot more room than the old one that was on there. I have got very little in the way of threads there to capture that top nut. But it should do. So that feels nice. So we'll leave that like that for now. Actually, we might just cinch it up a little bit. Feels good. And I'm feeling good. Feels alright. Okay. Okay, so next up it's time for the bottom bracket. So we've got this previously used SMBB 52. Let's get that in. Again, we're using the anti-seize to avoid issues further on down the line for whoever services it next. Get that in on both sides. Okay. So size wise, I'm just going to double check. It looks a 68 to me. Just double check it. 68. Okay. So with it being a 68, what that means is we need to use 3 of these 2.5mm spacers. If it was a 73, we'd just use 1 on the drive side. But as it's a 68, we need 2 on the drive side and 1 on the non-drive side to take up the full length of that. You should always fit your drive side first as well. So they are labelled up. It even tells you which way to tighten it in case you don't know. So pop that in there, and it'll always tighten towards the rear of the bike like that. So we'll just hand tighten that for now. That went in nicely. Good job we chased those threads. And then this side, again, nice and easy. And it goes. There we go. Get our tool. Swear to God, this tool's a bit bent as well. There we go. That's it. Don't do it too much, because you can, with them only being plastic spacers, you can just deform the spacers if you're not careful. That was touch and go there, to be honest. And then this side, again, yeah, spacers. Could do with metal spacers really, but now we spend 10 minutes looking for tools again. Here we go. Okay, time to fit the cranks. So we have gone with the Holotech 2 Shimano Z's with the original chainring. Now, we are fitting this on the outside because I just think it looks nicer there. But there is a chance that the chain alignment won't be great. So if that's the case, then I might have to move it to the inside. I just don't think it looks as nice on the inside as it does on the outside. But ultimately, performance is key, so we'll see what happens. It's more important that it works properly than what it looks like aesthetically. But if we can have it looking nice and working, that's a bonus. Right, again, loads of anti-seize on the shaft. Gotta lubricate your shaft, boys. We don't want any friction issues. So, pop that one in there. Then get the arm on the other side. So there is only one way this can go on, because there's a locating hole and a pin on this little clip that has to go into that hole, like so. So you probably can't see it from there, but trust me. And then before we tighten any bolts up, preload the bearings using the tool here. What tool we got here? A Bursman. So better than the usual plastic rubbish that tools that you get for this. So it's only got to be hand tight, like so. And that should still spin freely. And now there's no play in that whatsoever. And then tighten these bolts equally. So the clip's in the down position, so that's located in its hole. So we're just doing it until we feel resistance. Now I know that these are 12 to 14 Newton meters, but I don't have a torque wrench. So we kind of have to go by experience, what I know to be right. Just by feel. If you hear any clicking, it's not the torque wrench click, it's my elbows. Got built-in torque wrenches in my elbows. Right, so there you go, that's sweet as. Next up, I'm going to add the stem. So I showed this in the previous video. This GT stem, nice long shaft, long extension. This was originally all black. As you can see from the inside, it's still black inside. I've rubbed it all down and give it some clear coat. You can see the lovely GT logo on there now. Maybe. There you go. So that's going on. And we're not going to do that too tight at the moment because that's going to need fine tuning afterwards. Just enough to stop it turning. Get it sort of close to where it should be. Right there. Okay. Time for the bars. Some lovely cow horny cruisery type bars. Again, I'm just going to nip them up to stop them slipping, but we'll adjust them afterwards. I say, given how much of the fork steerer real estate that headset took up, it's a good job we did fit a stem with a cable guide in there, because we wouldn't have fitted one on there, that's for sure. Ooh, cool. Next up, we'll put the seat post in. Right, so with this seat post, the markings have long since worn off. I can't actually see where the minimum insertion mark is now, so I've put a little black line at 100mm, so I know not to extend it any higher than that, and that should be deeply inserted enough to not cause any issues. 100mm, how far in does that go? So look, that takes us past the junction there between those 3 tubes. That should be enough. Again, plenty of anti-seize. Pop that in for now. Find my mark. There it is. Nice. Let's get a skewer on that. So we've got this little hope on, which is obviously not in keeping with the rest of the bike, but it's gunmetal blue. I'm not sure what else I'll ever use it on, so it can go on this. And that's a nice fit. I like that. Right, what should we do next? How about the wheels? Right. Right, we're going to fit the wheels and the tyres. Bit concerned about this. I was concerned about that headset, to be honest, but that feels okay. So I'm hoping that, although that was a bit of a bodge, that's going to be fine. But I'm more concerned about tyre clearance on the back end of this. The front forks feels like there's loads of room, but that back end is very tight. Even though it's a wishbone stay, it's still tight. So we could come unstuck here trying to fit 2.35s. This could be a disaster. Not really, we just change the tyres if that happens. Right, let's try and get these on. So we're going to put the tyre pressures right by the valve. That seems to make the most sense to me. But it does mean that the labels, the Kenda labels and the small black 8 labels, all that stuff will not be in line with the valves. So I'm sure that someone's going to have a shit fit about that in the comments at some point. But you know what? Don't give a fuck. That's where that's going. That makes sense to me. Let's get a tube inflated in there. So this thing's running Presta valves. I'm not a massive fan of Presta valves, to be honest. They always seem to get bent, the valve stalk thing. We're using a Topic Joblo Sport track pump because we don't have a compressor. Let's get that in. And that almost is going on by hand. Come on. There you go. So that's gone on by hand. So no need for any tie levers there. Right, let's get her pumped up. Let's get her pumped up. And ready to go. Riveting footage. I promise you I am pumping a tyre up here, even though you can't see it on camera. It might look like I'm doing something else. It looks like I'm on one of those things they have on the railway in all black and white films where the two men standing either side on that cart pushing the handle up and down. That's what it looks like. Right, let's stop, have a look. Is the tyre bead seating properly? No, it is not. Do we stop and let some out? Or do we keep going and hope it pops on? Let's keep going, see what happens. 60. Still no popping. I'm a bit worried this is going to explode in my face at some point. Still not popped on. I've got 2 low spots where it's not popped on that side. And 1 on that side too. Why are these tyres so hard to seat? What's maximum pressure it can take? Let's have a look. Whew. By the valve, you idiot, by the valve. 50. And we're at 60 and it hasn't popped on. Right. I'm a bit concerned that if we carry on it might explode in my face. A bit like what happened to Ivy Tilsley's husband in Coronation Street. If any of you are old enough to remember when that happened. I'm going to say 83. Could be earlier, could be later. If you can remember that far back, like I can. I'll go to 70 and see what happens. You never know. It might be alright. Come on. Okay, that's 70 now. Wow, they're rock hard. Has it popped on? I didn't hear it. I just hear it creaking a bit. Whew. Ooh, almost. Almost. Should we give it a bit more? This is getting dangerous now. $75. Why oh why are they so hard to seat? Yep, that's on. That's seated. Wow. Well, I never. 75 psi to get it to seat. And all those micro cracks around the edge of the tread are quite apparent now, if you can see them. You could hardly see them before. Well, I'm not sure I'm going to keep these tyres. Might be a blessing in disguise if they don't fit. Let's some air out anyway, that's way too hard. That's better. Alright, let's get a valve cap for it. Right, let's get this one in the front. Come on. Goddamn lawyer lips, come on. Ah. That's why that won't go in. So earlier, when I was hammering away trying to get the headset comes back to haunt us again. When I was trying to get that crown race on, I was doing it on the garage floor, which has got rubber tiles. And it went right through the rubber tyres, the end of the fork did, and the end of the fork dropouts are now all bent. So now we're going to need to straighten those. Bloody hell. Oh dear, dear, dear.
2,000 years later.
That's it. Right, on to the real one. That was fun and games, wasn't it? Fun and games. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, I've got a bloody sweat on now. Too bloody right. Okay, back tyre. I'm amazed because these tyres, they're quite easy to get on the rim. You know, they're not a tight fit, so I don't understand why they struggle to actually bead and seat the beads properly. Who fucking knows, eh? Not this muppet. Still not seating properly. Oh, bit there. Bit more, come on. That side hasn't seated properly there. Shit a brick. Gonna have to go higher. Higher, babies. Keep going and never give up. Heavy breathing. That's 60. Still not quite there. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's about it. Right. Whew. No explosions. Very good. Oh, I feel sick now. Right, time to put the cassette on. So we are going with Sun Race 10 speed 11 to 42. Let's have a look, see if she fits. Now I know that I'm going to have to manually spread these stays a little because the previous hub had a 130mm outer lock nut diameter, and these are 135. So it is going to be a tight old fit. Come on, you twit. There we go. Let's lock this up in place. Question is, we do have clearance? Well, I'll tell you what, that's bloody close there. It's closer at the bottom than it is at the top, but shit, that's close. We do not have much room there. There you go. Couple of mil. That's so close. What do we think so far? It's going to be a beast. Rear derailleur next. And we're going with the Dior M6000 with the clutch. Chain, we've got a KMC 11 speed, which should run fine on the 10 speed system. A lot of people make that mistake of running it in front of that little plate at the back there. It's supposed to run behind it. Easy mistake to make, but you know as soon as you've done it, you turn the cranks and it's making a god awful racket. Here we go. Right, it is started raining now, so we're probably going to have to pack up in a minute. Otherwise, everything that's that can rust will rust. So I'm going to call it a day there and come back to it. So it's been about a minute for you guys. I've had to move the bike into the garage because it's pissing down again, as it always seems to be raining in Cornwall. Been here 5 years and it's 5 years of rain basically. I think they call this mizzle. We've got rain and mist. I'm supposed to have a sea view from here, but 95% of the time you can't see it because of all the sea fog and what have you. Anyway, we've moved into the garage. It's actually the next day. I had to stop recording last night because it was peeing down as well. For continuity, I've kept the same clothes on. So just full disclosure there. You're going to have to trust me on the pants though, because I'm not showing you my pants. Right then, so next thing I want to do is get the brakes onto the bike. And I've built them back up. And there's a couple of things I want to point out with them as we're fitting them. So we'll start with the back ones. So these old Shimano M650s, Dior DX I believe, have got two settings on the back. So you've got a normal setting and an SLR. I don't think you'll be able to see it on camera. There's no way that's going to focus on that. Maybe. Focus, come on. Anyway, there's two settings. So there's two holes that the spring can go in inside there. Normal is for old style cantilevers that don't have their own return spring. And SLR is for ones that do have return spring. I think it stands for Shimano Linear Response. So that's the first thing I want to point out. Second thing on these is the actual colours of the springs, where they go, because you do have silver springs and gold springs. So when you're actually looking at the bike, so we're starting on the rear, so looking at the bike from behind, your left hand spring is going to be the gold spring. So if you just remember, if you're starting left to right, gold comes before silver. So we've got the silver one here, so we're going to start with the right hand side and get this one on. So I've had to change the pads, because the original pads, although they had loads of material left on them and even wear and everything, as I'm sure you can imagine, were absolutely rock solid. So we've got some new Ritchie pads to go on there. And I'm going to start off, there are 3 holes on this stud for you to choose from. And I'm going to start with the middle one, because that feels like a decent spring tension without overloading the spring too much. Let's get my tool. What you find is if you've run out of adjustment on the adjustment screw, because you only get an adjustment screw on the one side and you're still not getting even tension on both sides, you can flip between different holes depending on which one's going to give you the dropping begins again. Fuck's sake. Try not to damage the bike any more than you already have, please, Franksy. Fuck's sake. Right, so that feels decent there. We've almost got the pad in the right position as well, by some miracle of fortune. Right, so this one has a slight gold hue to it, so that's for the left hand side. Get plenty of anti-seize or grease, whatever you want, around the actual post, and try and get a little bit in the threads as well. Let's pop this back in. The other thing with these springs is the ones bit that sticks out, if you like, the locating bit, is a lot shorter than the other. So the short one goes inside the brake and the long one goes in the frame. You'll know if you've got it the wrong way around, because you won't be able to get this plastic cap to fit flush on the end. And we go middle hole on that side as well. I'll try not to do as much heavy breathing today, but I can't really help it. I'm fat and overweight. What can we do, Fat Franksy? What can we do? Right, so that's done up. Feels like there's a bit more tension on this side, but then that has got the adjustment screw almost all the way in, so we could back that out a bit if we need to. And we'll get the front ones on. Can't believe the rigmarole I had yesterday with that headset crown race and all the problems it caused for the fork dropouts as well. Never mind, it's all sorted now, hopefully, he says, fingers crossed. Touch wood. Don't want to speak too soon, but you know, famous last words and all that. Right. Again, we'll go middle hole. Right. So with these Canty calipers, I just gave them a quick going over with some auto sol. Didn't go too crazy. I'm not looking for a mirror finish, and also attacked a bit of the surface rust on bolts and what have you. But again, without going too crazy, it's an old bike, there's plenty of rust on it already, so it all adds to the patina and the character of it, if you will. Right, so we've got the brakes on. Let's get the levers and shifter and everything on. Right, so we've got the Dior M6000 lever to match the shifter. Shifter to match the derailleur. That can go on there. And we've got our Diacomp 11 power control levers. Come on. And grips wise, we've got these, they're like silicone. Squishy silicone grips. So what we'll do with them, we'll spray a bit of, this is just isopropanol alcohol. We'll spray a bit of that in there. A bit on there. That should go straight on. There we go. Give that about 24 years to dry. Come on. There we go. We've got our little Diacomp bar end bungs. Make sure they fit. Oh, don't even need the hand mallet for those. Straight in. Should we get them up? There we go. Sorted. I'll just nip these up to where I think they should be for now. Right, so let's just nip these pedals up. One, two. Right, so we've got some pedals now. So all that's really left to do is cabling up and getting the saddle on. We'll do the saddle now. So I have gone in the end for a trusty charge spoon. There we go, another successful fudge. Let's look for that bolt later. Oh, I wish I had some power tools. Need to have some power to have power tools. No power down here. I've lost all my power. There again, I'll set that properly when it's on the ground. Like I say, wherever possible we reuse and recycle. Right. Get this stupid little black plastic screw thing out of the way. Try not to lose that. Put it in my mouth, won't lose it then. Kids, don't put stuff in your mouth that you shouldn't. Right. There we go. Pop that back in, dry the spit off it. Right, so that's in place. That's plenty big enough. Just opened up the end with a little thin pointy sheathing, and now I'm going to put some GT85 down there. I don't know if it's the best thing to be putting in the liner, but I've done it for years. And does it help? Who knows? It smells nice though, if you like that sort of thing. Let's see how long we want this. want it to be able to go to there if need be. I mean, to be fair, if your bars are around that way, you're probably in big trouble already. I think the last thing you're worried about is whether or not your cables are long enough at that point. I think you're more worried about how am I going to die. And the answer to that is yes, you are. And again, a bit more for the old GT84. Right. That look. Yeah, we like that. Yeah. Cool. Now, to go through the weird bracket guide. So there. We're just about be long enough, I reckon. Just about. Right, if there's one tool I really want, it's one of those Park Tool end plier things, or as Bike Farm calls it, the extra pretentious one. As it is, I don't even know what this tool is. I've had it a long time now. Ideal. It's made in Japan, so it's decent. And these have been my my cable cutters for 15 years, and they're still cutting. They're still sharp. They're quite hard to do the end crimpings. There we go. It's got that. Let's see if it changes gear, shall we? Oh, get off there. No, not yet. I need more tension. Thinking about it. Yeah, you can hear the noise that's making. That's because that front chain ring's on the outside of the crank arm tabs, and it's just asking too much of it there. I think we're going to have to move that inside. Well, it got all the way up to the top one anyway, so at least we know that worked. So the gears are perfect. Need to move that ring inside just to give me a better chain line with the biggest car. It'll work, but it just doesn't sound as good as it should. Right, let's get some brake cables. I do have some brand new cables, but they're only galvanised, so they're not the best. If I can use these old ones up, I always will. Be a pain in the arse now, yeah. Right, how long do we need this? on. Oh, gods are shining on me today. I've spoken too soon. Come on, God, get that through there. Go on. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Eventually, come on. Do it right-handed, even though I'm left-handed. There we go. That's just nipped up for now. That's locked on. So then if we back this off, hopefully if we get lucky, we've got even tension, we'll have no rubbing and we'll have perfect contact at the same time from both arms. Right, so welcome back. Still got the Mount Shasta in the stand. This thing's fighting us all the way. We've lost some footage, I've noticed looking back. We had some issues with the camera's memory not being able to, well, just fucking up basically. So we swapped cameras for a bit, and what we found with that second camera is that the footage is shit. So the lighting was shit, and the DJI microphone wasn't connected through it, so that was shit audio as well. So we are back on camera one. We've sorted out the memory issues. We've got the mic up and running again, so hopefully we can get some better footage. We've now got good movement of the lever, and we've got a decent amount of centralized pulling there, and the wheel, it's rubbing slightly, but we do have to true the wheel, so that's not too bad. These grips still haven't set. I don't like isopropyl alcohol for that. Look at that, straight off, and it's dry now. It's not wet anymore, so weird. We might have to find some way of sticking them on, maybe some hairspray or something, because otherwise we've got motorbike grips, revving it up. And these Diatech plugs, as nice as they are, I'm pretty sure we'll end up losing them because they just come out way too easily. Look, that come out with the grip there. Look. Rubbish. Well, we'll figure that out at some point. So let's cut that front one and put a cable tie on the end of it. So apologies if you're still with us and you've suffered all the way through that middle section with the shit video and the shit audio. But hopefully this last part, the back end of the video, the last part should be a lot better. So I said earlier in the video as well, these cutters, I said I've had them 15 years. I actually got them in 1998. I just have to go back and think about that. So that's 27 years old. And I think they were supposed to be for cutting fibre optics and stuff like that, maybe, or certainly like Ethernet cables and stuff, and that's what they were for. But I use them for cutting cables. I've used them for cutting spokes when you want to just quickly get a hub out of a damaged wheel. They go straight through spokes as well. So can't fault them at all. Even though I would dearly love the Park Tool extra pretentious one. So that's okay now, it's not too bad. Quite happy with that. Like I say, it is rubbing slightly, but that's more down to the wheel being slightly buckled, which we'll have to have a look at. So moving on to the front one. Moving on from the front one rather to the back one. So get ourselves one of our crappy galvanised cables because they were cheap, like 30 pence each. Untangle that. Oh my. I promise you we are still on day 2. I'm not wearing the same clothes 3 days running. Continuity be damned, I wouldn't do that to anybody. Okay, let's get this in here. There we go. This is a nice old piece of housing. It's a bit twisted. Well, that's obviously been rolled, folded up like that for a long time. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's tough shit. Again, to there. Just need to get the side cutters to take any burrs off there. That's it. Open that bugger up. Find myself some 5mm end caps. That's that. Now I want to run a liner along the top there. 1, because it protects the top tube, but 2, because we've got this weird noodly affair here that we need to run a liner through as well. So if I can find the one that was originally on it, we'll reuse it. But as we've already established, I'm not the most organised person, so here we got this weird kink noodle thing going on right here as a cable guide. Like so. And getting this tightened up. Oh, that's miles better. That's really good. I think that's good enough. It'll do. They're not rubbing and they will stop. Right, so the next thing we're going to attempt to do is to move the chainring inside without taking the cranks off. So we'll take the chain off. See, that just doesn't look as nice. But with how thick these tabs are as well on these cranks, that's a massive difference. You're talking about you moving it in 7 or 8mm. It's ridiculous. Right. Let's see what it sounds like up the top end now. That's better. It's still an angle, but it's nowhere near as extreme as it was. Yeah, man, that's cool. That's cool. Let's get these grips so they're actually stuck. I'm going to use a bit of body lacquer, body shop lacquer, not body lacquer, not for your body. Body shop lacquer, clear coat, call it what you want. Hopefully that doesn't react with silicone. A good idea not to get it on the outside of it like that. Just wipe that off. Hopefully that will stick this time now. Right. See how that fares. Right, let's have a look. Get my little stool. So it's slightly rubbing on this side. Just there. That's not rubbing now. But they're not exactly pulling even. This side could do coming out a touch. Just going to check all the spoke tensions whilst we're here, just by hand. Those two are a bit loose. Rub in there. That'll do for that one. Right, so next we're just going to oil the chain and give it a wipe down, clean the tyres, and then she's ready for her test ride, I think. I'm not going to bother putting a cage on there, primarily because I don't have any water bottles anyway. And I'm pretty sure if I put a cage on with no water bottle, I'll get roasted for it by somebody. So what we've got here is some PT's Link Lube All-Weather Premium. Pop some of that on. Again, we'll do each link individually, starting at the split link. There we go. So that's just one drop on each link. Don't need to absolutely bathe the thing in it. You can hear that's rubbing again now. Okay. So run that around a bit. And try not to kill yourself. And just wipe off the excess like so. Perfect. Hardly any excess at all there. Perfect. Cool. So now I've got rags in various states and conditions. So we get the cleanest one. Doesn't have to be spotless. And what we're going to do now, clean these tyres up so they're looking riffy. The last thing I'm going to do now is just a quick bolt check, make sure all the bolts are up nice and tight. Again, do these bolts up evenly so you're not putting pressure on just one. And we do these up to Newton meters. That's about it, I reckon. Super. Okay. So what we're going to do now is get a clean cloth, wipe it down, give it a bit of silicone shine, some of this muck off protect and shine free step post wash stuff. Never bothered to read the instructions, I'll just spray it on. Mask breaking surfaces. Well, I didn't do that. What harm can it do? Dropped a spanner. Okay, so that's it. The 92 Mt Shasta Arrowhead is 100% completed. 33 years after she first came out, she's been reborn, and she was dragged kicking and screaming into the 21st century. We had quite a few issues with this one, and not least that headset crown race, which caused all the issues in regard to the dropouts on the fork. We had the grips that just wouldn't stay stuck. What else? Oh yeah, saddle. We had an issue with the saddle clamp that was faulty, so that took ages to get that sorted out. I ended up having to use a different saddle clamp, and the brakes took forever to set up. We didn't show you all the footage of those just because it would have showed how grossly incompetent I really am. And those tyres, yeah, how loose were the tyres? So easy to get on, but so difficult to seat, taking over 75 psi in each tyre in order to get them seated. But we got there in the end. So yeah, she's all finished. Yeah, so let us know what you think about the bike in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, all the usual stuff to try and help this channel grow. My name's Franksy, the Bike Fudger, and you've been watching Bicycle Bling and Candy. Stay tuned, we should have another bike in the workstand within the next week. Right, it's time for me to shut up and ride now, so I'm going to go off and test this bad boy out, make sure those back tyres aren't rubbing, and I'll leave you just to take a look at it these last few seconds, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, take care.